Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, and they are about 25 minutes total between the two of those. So if you guys wanted some good information and not drama and current events, then go watch those instead of this one. But you saw the title of this video when you clicked on it. So let me put on my +5 How to Weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about some stuff that's come out. I don't know if you guys have seen Johnny Bravo's video this afternoon he just put out, but apparently, Johnny Bravo went down to Florida to interview Richard Rodriguez, who was involved with WFN, with Mike Rashid's whole situation. And you guys know my take on that, that obviously Mike Rashid is very, very much involved in that whole situation with WFN and the Iron Addicts Miami bust and everything else. And it should be blaringly obvious as that's the case. But it looks like Richard Rodriguez has been the fall guy for all of this. He's the guy who's catching the flack, even though there are rumors out there in the community that a guy by the name of Berto Mundo is actually the kingpin of that operation. But it is still interesting that Mike Rashid walked away and still hasn't been arrested. But you guys notice that he is still losing weight. He's off that gear. He doesn't want to get popped because he knows he's being watched at this point. But Richard Rodriguez was actually fighting. If you guys had looked, he had a GoFundMe up to help with his legal fees. There was his own take he was putting out there publicly on it. And several people have been covering some of that out there in the community. Well, apparently he got rearrested. And I just found this all out myself. He just got arrested again. He had been out on bond. He was putting together a really good defense case. Apparently he was out on bond. He got rearrested. The reason he was rearrested, apparently the judge, the details that I've heard, I don't know that this is true, the details I've heard are that the judge got upset that he was running another internet business that was selling peptides. And I know it was peptides because I went and looked at the site, because when it came up and he put the website up, a bunch of people linked it to me. I went over and hopped over and looked at it just to see what was going on, to keep up with the community, and I didn't see anything that was really a big deal. Everything that I saw there, to my knowledge, falls under the area of research chemicals, and research chemicals are legal for distribution in the United States. They're not considered to be controlled substances. People buy them for research purposes. This isn't technically illegal. As far as I'm aware. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm misunderstanding the law, but it is my knowledge that they are legal for distribution. All of these peptides, every substance that I saw there, it was like GHRP2, GHRP6, HGH frag, which is not real HGH, it's not the same thing. It was things like that. It was all research chemicals and peptides. Which again, not really legal, but apparently the judge wasn't happy about it, decided to rearrest the guy when Johnny Bravo was down there trying to do an interview for his documentary. He's been covering the entire WFN bust. He's a filmmaker, does some pretty good work overall. He does good work. And one of the things that he noted was that Bradley Martyn had blown up Richard's phone the night before, that Richard had apparently sent some of it to the guy. He had blown up his phone, blown up his Instagram, was telling him take all his photos down. He doesn't want his photos on there. Of course, Richard had told him no. But as a lot of you guys know, all these people who had originally been on these websites, right? All these people who had been on the websites were people who were endorsing this stuff and had publicly admitted to all of it. And people were acting like they weren't. Like Lobliner was saying, well, I wasn't involved. I wasn't involved. But he had done videos saying that he endorsed this company and its products. Alright, he did a video on that, and we got all the information showing the tracking numbers and everything for his packages, that Mark had received stuff from this. Of course, Mike Rashid, the same thing. They had all endorsed this company, all had received products from them. Cali Muscle was sent a shipment from this company. I mean, let's be realistic. This stuff was widespread through the YouTube fitness community. And a bunch of people were endorsing it. All those guys were endorsing it. I think, who was it? Was it Flex Wheeler was endorsing it? A couple other former IFBB pro bodybuilders were endorsing this company. There were a lot of big names in the industry endorsing this company and involved in it. So I don't know what the situation is between Bradley Martyn and that. I don't know. And the thing is, though, I don't know much about Bradley Martyn. Some people have had me look into him. I had never heard of the guy until last year. Never heard of him in my life. And people are going to go, how could be in YouTube Fitness not who Bradley Martyn is? because there's so many guys and they all seem the same to me. I don't know the difference between Devin Physique and Bradley Martyn and whoever else. All these people named, there's too many. I can't keep up with them. They all just go like a bunch of dudes who use gear, who pimp a bunch of supplements, and do some goofy-ass training. All right, I can't keep up with them. I don't know. All I know is people are like, well, Bradley Martyn's stronger than you. He just deadlifts, then he got straps on. Dude was pulling a strap-on Destiny. Deadlifting some respectable weight. He did 550 for 10 reps, I think. Was that what it was? But he had straps on, so I don't know how we count that. How do we count that as a test of strength? You don't know that someone's stronger than someone else if they need straps to lift more than they do. You got to see what they can lift without the straps. Then you can make a valid comparison. It just doesn't work the other way. So that's all I thought when I saw it. I moved on. That's the only video of his I've ever seen. And something about some people showing me a really messed up deadlift form where the guy was pretty much squatting the weight up from almost like an ass to grass squat on a deadlift. Outside of that, that's all I know about the guy. But interestingly enough, I talked to another YouTuber at a point last year. I had something important I needed to tell him. I needed to get in touch with him. And I talked to a guy on the phone, another YouTuber who's going to remain unnamed, and worked out an agreement with him on something. And a couple days later, I get a couple random missed phone calls. I call it back and there's no answer. And then I go look the number up and it turns out it is a number owned by a company owned by Bradley Martyn. So Bradley Martyn tried to call me for some reason. At some point last year, didn't get through, didn't pick up when I called him back. So I have no idea what the guy wanted from me. I have no clue because I don't really know anything about the dude. Maybe there's some stuff you people think I should know about Bradley. Some dirt, some interesting stuff, good stuff, bad stuff. I don't know if it's worth knowing. I guess you guys could tell me because I don't know enough about the guy to form an opinion on this topic. But there is speculation out there that because all of that happened, the same night that Richard got arrested, some people are saying that he might have snitched on Richard about the peptide thing or pulled some strings somewhere. I don't know what strings Bradley Martyn would be able to pull, but that is a rumor going around already, circulating, that Bradley Martyn might have been involved in that. Now, is that true? I don't know. I don't know. You know what? That's just a rumor. It is what it is. Like I said, I don't know enough about the guy to know if he's the sort of guy who would snitch on someone, would talk to the DEA or anything else about a situation like that. But what I do know is that the judge doing that doesn't necessarily seem right because the guy was selling peptides. Now, I can understand, though, that the judge is upset because he's out on bond for being involved in distribution of anabolics, and therefore he's considering peptides to kind of be the same thing, but legally they're not the same thing. They aren't legally the same thing. Again, peptides like that fall under research chemicals. So, who in the heck knows what happened? I don't know what happened, but it sure seemed like Bradley Martyn was really, really pissed off at Richard the night before, or the same day, and all of a sudden the next day he gets arrested. Rearrested, rethrown back in jail in the middle of his pending trial and everything. So, this is just a current news floating around in the community. It's interesting because it involves a couple different YouTubers, because it involves Richard Rodriguez and the whole situation that involves half a dozen YouTubers already. Rashid, Cali Muscle, Lobliner, all these other people. And now Bradley Martyn's kind of mixed up in the middle of this in some way, and people are saying he might have snitched. But, you know, I do want people to know what I'm saying. I'm saying that's what the rumor is. Don't go harassing the guy, calling him a snitch. We don't actually know. I don't know. You don't know. He could very likely be completely innocent. So there's no point in harassing the guy over it. But that is the rumor floating around. And of course, Bradley Martyn apparently has one of my cell phone numbers. So I guess if he wants to tell me what's going on, he could shoot me a text. Call me. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.